Hi, everybody. I'm Sophie.
And I'm Tasha. And today we're talking about the benefits and the dangers of technology.
Now, in our previous discussion about AI, in the comments, we had some suggestions that we were afraid of tech, that we're Luddites. Just to let everybody know some of our credentials, both of us, Tash and I, have worked in tech, in IT, our entire working lives. So we're very familiar with the advancements of technology. We have seen in our lifetime, because yes, we're Gen Xers, we have seen technology go from the BBC Micro, which we had in our computer room, the one computer room we had at school, through to having the power hundreds of times the power of those micros in our hand on our phones, the way we're talking to you at the moment. It has been an incredible advancement, hasn't it, Tash?
It has. And don't forget, we both have PhDs in this. So, we're not afraid of technology. I mean, you did robotics, for heaven's sake. So don't say we're afraid of technology. We've seen it grow, and we think some of it is absolutely brilliant. Awesome. But the problem is, it's being allowed to grow without the checks and balances.
Yeah, I think what we can say, is we have seen technology outpass the ability to regulate it at the moment. And that's probably the biggest risk, actually, that we're seeing. The fact that it has grown so fast and offers so much that we don't really know how some of it works. And we will get onto AI again in a minute because, yes, we have some thoughts about how we can deal with that. But I think first, Tash, can you actually explain to us what we meant in our tagline about Dune warned us? Because it's been a long time since I read it.
Okay, well, in Dune, you see, the whole current environment of humanity is defined by the fact in history they relied on thinking machines that made them atrophy because they became lazy, and then they got conquered by people with more machines, at which point there was what they call a jihad, which against the machines, and they destroyed all the machines and then outlawed them, and which is why you have the Bene Gesserit and the Spacing Guild manipulating people's genes to produce the ultimate in the human species. The Bene Gesserit are going after the Kwisatz Haderach, and the Spacing Guild want their navigators to be able to navigate all of space and have the ability to see the future, or the future paths they're going through.
So Frank Herbert is basically saying it doesn't matter whether you've got tech or not, you're still going to do bad things anyway. But
Yeah, basically.
but he had a warning for us about relying on technology.
Yeah, you don't want to stop using your brain, basically. I think is the whole point of that message. And I mean, yeah, some people use it as fear mongering. I mean, when paperback novels became a big thing, people thought it was going to destroy the world because it was going to infect people's minds, and they were just going to spend all their time reading. And then you get the same thing when happening when calculators came out for doing mathematics and things.
Everyone would stop doing mental arithmetic. Yes, I understand that. Yeah. I think every step of progress does have its detractors and its warners, but actually every step of progress so far has also evened itself out. And we're in one of those, I think we are definitely in one of those periods where we've got this advancement, it's gone shooting off, and we're running to keep up and trying to understand it and trying to manage it properly and safely. I mean, the big worry is safety at the moment. I mean, the Pope is he's just released I mean, when the Pope gets involved, you know, it's got serious. It's a significant thing for humanity, for our civilization, if the Pope's writing a treatise. And he's written his Magnifica Humanitas, which I must admit I haven't read all 84 pages, I think it is, but I have read some summaries. And he has some interesting things to say. And one of the things he's warning about is that, I think what he said when, in one of the summary reports I read from Sky, they said he warned during the Vatican presentation on when he released his treatise that the text that some autonomous weapon systems have advanced practically beyond any human reach to govern them. And that is a concern, because we don't understand how some things work. I mean, AI, for a start, we have no clue how it's making its decisions. And if you don't know how something is making its decisions, and you can't ask it to explain, I mean, so it doesn't know how it's making its decisions, how do we know the good decisions?
Yeah, I mean, that is the problem with a lot of AI engines. They fundamentally, at its core, do not understand exactly how it works, or exactly how to make it work in the way they want it to work. So the problem is, you feed it data, and it decides what to do with it. That's the problem.
It's being trained on things that people are picking to train it on, which means it's getting the biases of what it's being trained on. And if you leave we already know that if you leave an AI chatbot to the internet, within a few hours, it will become misogynistic, racist, homophobic, and all the rather nasty attitudes that humans have a capability of knowing it's wrong. We have moral judgments. AIs don't.
No, AIs only know what they've been given as information. And the problem is, it's skewed. I mean, but that's the big problem with social media today as well. The algorithms skew everything. You've got people in echo chambers who are just being fed more and more hate because that's what they were looking for one day. And it just becomes they're just being thrown this information over and over again. And I mean, that's why you've got governments trying to ban social media for under 16s.
Okay, before we talk about where we're going, I think we need to talk about what we've seen and where we've been, because we've used an internet which, although was still pretty much a Wild West, we didn't have algorithms controlling what we saw. We could actually pick what we wanted to see. So we could artificially create our own echo chambers, but it was our choice if we did that. Like, for example, on LiveJournal, we used to go onto LiveJournal and find our people. We found, I mean, because we were mainly based around fanfic at the time, so we looked for Harry Potter or Highlander and different fandoms for music and things like that. We found those. We found our people. We got to pick it. It wasn't an algorithm deciding for us, which at the moment it is. You only get fed what you've already looked at. And very rarely get new information and different ideas.
I mean, Facebook didn't used to have an algorithm. You used to find your friends, find your family, find people you were interested in, follow them, and then you got to see what they were posting. But on Facebook at the moment, you don't even see your friends' posts. I mean, you've got a few. You can have a few close friends that you you see their posts, but you don't even see all of those. I mean, it's crazy. The one place that still works like it used to, if you actually want to experience it, is Tumblr. Tumblr, you follow people and you see what they're posting. There's no algorithm in the way. to make you see what they want you to see, or archive of our own doesn't have an algorithm either. You just use tags to find what you're actually looking for.
And I think that, I mean, I can understand why algorithms are useful to make suggestions, but not to control everything you see. That's the problem. I think we've gone from something being useful to go, oh, have you thought of this? Or you like this, so how about try this? To, you've watched this, therefore you only see this. Or, and we're not going to show you much of anything else. I don't know what percentage it is of random things that I get shown, but it isn't a lot. And it does mean that I'm actually quite aware of the amount of stuff I get fed, which is the same stuff. It's the same, and it's not always just the same content creators. It's also the same ideas. So if you got stuck into a rut where you're getting fed conspiracy theories all the time, that's all you're going to see. And I have seen that actually affect friends of mine, older friends who actually don't understand how the internet works, who don't understand that it's an algorithm that's just feeding them this over and over again and getting it more and more, in some cases, more and more wrong.
And let's not forget that half of what you get fed, you're being fed it because somebody paid for you to see that. You're not being fed it because you actually want to see it. You are being fed it because there is a billionaire or something behind it that actually wants you to see that, and only that, because they're trying to indoctrinate you in something. I mean, it could be as simple as making sure you buy their product, or as terrible as making you believe conspiracy theories and making you therefore vote for some idiot. And I'm not looking at you, the USA, at all, but I mean, our country happened. It happened in the UK as well. Look at Brexit. Brexit was caused by misinformation.
Yep, and also they're trying it again now.
Reform.
Yeah, you like to think that humans are more intelligent than that, but en masse we're not. Individually, yes, we can think for ourselves, but if you get behind, if people find out what the buttons are to press for momentum, it can get absolutely awful. It's why people in crowds are dangerous.
And it's why things like Facebook and Twitter and TikTok are completely useless these days. Because unless you're saying exactly what the algorithm wants you to say, it's not going to be shown to anyone. And they're all run by billionaires.
Yeah, and I know they are trying to protect people with the algorithms and stop hate speech and stop things coming through, but again, it's not working. The algorithms, there's no people in the way actually helping to coordinate some of this stuff. It is all algorithms, and algorithms frequently get it wrong. I mean, the amount of times, we've talked about YouTube and the fact that it's banning people for using AI or what it thinks is AI. And then you appeal it to say this isn't AI, and the AI again decides that it's right. And we know, I was looking at something yesterday about Mia Ballard, actually going back to Mia Ballard, who we mentioned in the previous discussion on AI. And there was a person who was talking about the fact that someone ran her piece through their AI software, and their AI said it's more like it's probably written by AI. But then somebody else, I think one of the comments said that their child did some testing running stuff through AI engines, and most of the time it said it was AI when it wasn't, because the stuff they're running through was actually normal literature, and it was just because AI is AI biased. It sees AI in everything.
When an AI claims that Jane Austen is AI, you know it's wrong. So it's like,
Yes.
or pick any book, sort of like from a few years ago, and run it through AI and ask if it's AI, and it'll probably tell you it is AI, even though AI wasn't a thing then.
To be even more subtle, I suppose you could say. So it's not subtle. It's insidious. Insidious is it'll say, "Oh, it's X percentage AI," and of course the percentage is going to be over 50%, which means people go, "Oh, it's AI." No, it said it was a percentage chance it was AI. That's and that's because it's not caring. It's just doing a probability calculation, and since a lot of stuff is based on a lot of the engines are based on fiction, original literature anyway, and so what they create is based on that stuff. Of course, there's going to be similarities. It's and it, as we came back to, it's like pointing at someone and going, which in the 16th century, it's the same principle. It's suspicion. Unless someone's left their AI prompt in, it's not going to help, is it?
And luckily for us, a lot of people that use AI are lazy enough to leave their AI prompt in, which give you a big hint. So, that's quite helpful. But AI isn't the only problem. I mean,
No,
you
no.
can use technology that doesn't have anything to do with AI to hurt people. You can use technology to when people are trying to con people. They find your information online. They use it to make you think that they're official, and then they try and scam you out of everything. I mean, scams have been a problem since the beginning of email, when you got your Nigerian prince emailing you to try and scam you out of money. And the problem is, it just keeps getting worse, and it looks as if a lot of regulatory bodies haven't got a clue how to fix it, or are more focused on going, oh, you need this, sort of, here, have this, rather than trying to block what's already happening. Which, because the problem is, so much of it is going where the money is. They're interested in the money, not in actually helping people.
Pope made that point. He was talking in his treatise about the fact that we need to look at regulation for the sake of humanity, for helping humanity, working out, is this a good thing to do, rather than it being about, is this making money, is this good for the person that owns the company. And talking about he was talking about regulation and needing it to be external, and not let a few people control everything. Because if you leave morality up to a couple of people, it's going to be their morality, not everybody's morality, as it were, what's fair for everybody. And especially if you leave it to people with money, it's going to be fair for people with money, not for everybody.
Look at the data centers and the damage they're causing. AOC, the American representative, literally holding up dirty water in a jar to prove that a data center in Georgia is destroying drinking water for families near the new Meta data center that's been opened. Nobody is stopping them. It's literally destroying people's drinking water, which is a fundamental need. They're having to ship water in to families. And it's utterly crazy. And nobody's stopping it.
I think that's where, that the Pope was talking about regulation. I think we're all talking about regulation in one aspect or another, and regulation has its own downfalls, and you need to be careful about that kind of thing. But no regulation at all leads to anarchy. And we know that the most powerful people then start controlling the narrative, and they start keeping everything for themselves. It makes things unbalanced. It keeps people down, and we need to look at what regulation is needed for this kind of thing. And it's as important to think about what regulation is needed and important, as well as what the regulation should be.
Yeah.
I think at this point, I mean, we mentioned the social media ban for under 16s that's being discussed in the UK at the moment. Again, we've been discussing whether it should happen or not. And we have politicians making bold statements about we've got to keep our children safe and we've got to do X, Y, and Z. But as you mentioned, they are not IT literate. They want to make these sweeping statements about what should be happening, but have no idea how to do it. And we've already seen how bad it can get because they put in these age checks. We have to have legal age checks for adult sites. And then they said you could do what you like to outsource the identity checks, the age checks. And it's a case of, but you missed the point, guys. If we're going to say, okay, no social media for under 16s, how are you going to implement that? Because you can't just outsource it and tell the companies just get on with it and do it yourselves. Because that way lies, oh, you mean you want to give our minors information away because they've got to prove they're over a certain age or under a certain age to use something, and you want to give that information away?
There's I mean, we've already had the age verification for over 18s hacked. People have stolen that information because it's not secure. And it's also just a really stupid thing because the only thing you have to do to get around it is use a VPN and say you're from a different country. I mean, it's not hard. And the people who really know how to get around these things are the teenagers, who are the ones you're trying to protect. And so, I mean, the first thing just look at the way China's ban on all sorts of social media works. It doesn't, because everybody who wants to get around it gets around it. It's not that hard, and they just have no idea what they're talking about.
No, and they are. I mean, Australia has banned social media for under 16s. And of course, the government there saying how wonderful it is and it's doing great. And of course, they've got their little spokespeople who come in and go how wonderful it is for them. But they're not. They're not going to find out what's really going on because they probably don't have the tech to understand it. They don't have the IT literacy to understand what it's actually doing and to understand whether it's actually having an impact and helping people.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think education is the way to go. We need to first of all, we need an infrastructure that is safe and secure, that is run by people who are trustworthy and not in it for the money, that can actually do these kind of checks and balances. And then we need to decide what we need to implement and how, because education is the most important thing. Educating the children on how to safely use the internet. Do you remember the Charlie adverts when we were kids? That was the little boy and his cat. And he was always going off and to talk to strangers and do dangerous things. And Charlie would stop him and explain to him that it was dangerous and he shouldn't do it. We need that kind of stuff for the modern era. Understanding how communications online work and the fact you can't see who a person is. You can't tell who they are. That you have to be careful about those things. Again, tech is advancing, and we have people who aren't real. And I mean, I know friends of mine who are older had no idea that some of the things they were watching on YouTube even are AI models telling them things. It's even fooled me. I mean, I don't consider myself old. I am a Gen Xer, but I'm not an old person. I think I understand technology. I know it's outpacing things very rapidly, but even I was fooled. It took me a minute to go, there's something wrong here. And the uncanny valley came up and I thought, oh, you're AI. And it was only for something, I think I was searching for recipes and things like that. And it was telling me how bad I think one of the healthy supplements was, or something, not supplements, one of the healthy ingredients that you can use. It was really bad for you. You shouldn't use it. I think it was psyllium husk. That was it. Yes, it was psyllium husk. It was telling me how bad it was for me and that I shouldn't be eating it. And I shouldn't be also, I was eating chia seeds the wrong way and stuff like that. And it's a case of, okay, what are you trying to sell me?
It's always, what are you trying to sell me when it comes to these things?
We see it all the time. And I think, that's the kind of thing where you need to teach kids to know, to be cynical about what they're looking at, because it does take a long time to work out that if that doesn't sound right, or if that sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And it's one of those things that that's one of those things that you learn gradually as you get older, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it is much more dangerous. I mean, my father, when he was using the internet, I had him trained that if he got emails and things that he didn't understand and were asking him for things, he'd come and ask me, and I go, "Yeah, don't do that. No, that's a scam. Don't answer that. Leave that alone. They just want your data, that kind of thing." But I had him trained to be suspicious. I think it's a really sad comment on society that's what we're going to have to train kids to be.
Yeah.
But it is. I suppose, rather suspicious.
Mindful.
Yeah, mindful of what they're doing. Yes, and you can't just go out and play out there. You have to be thinking about, who's this person that's talking to me? Why are they talking to me? That kind of thing. It's having some discretion.
Yeah, it's like stranger danger, but in technology.
Yeah.
And I mean, when we started on the internet, you were given rules. Don't use your real name. Don't tell anybody your own address. Don't tell people your age, because we knew that there could be dangerous people online who are pretending to be something they weren't. I mean, when we started, it was mostly text, so you didn't even see people. You just saw what they were typing. But these days, they were literally telling people to give out their full names, ages, your social security numbers and shit like that to prove who you are. It's ridiculous. You shouldn't be doing that.
So, we don't think technology is the enemy because we've been in it our entire working lives. We think technology is a tool. It's really useful. It has advanced beyond, well, what anyone can imagine, I think. I mean, when we were kids in the 80s, I mean, we had everything from we had robots, of course, and everything like that, and we had androids because we had Star Trek and we had Data. Star Trek is, we've been through all the nasty stuff and we've got to this point and we're happy with this point. But even they had an episode where they questioned whether keeping Data around was a good thing. They put him on trial, didn't they, to see whether they dismantle him, to find out how he worked, because they didn't know how he worked. Oh, here we go.
Then you've got the Terminator as well, and war games.
Well, yes.
So you have all of these ideas of what technology is going to be, and then you've got the reality that it's grown so much.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's grown faster than we can understand or explain. And when you can't explain something or know how it's doing something, and it's surpassing you when it comes to speed of computation and not intelligence. Let's make that clear. AI is not intelligent.
No.
But it's dangerous because we are assuming it's going to make intelligent and also, as the Pope said, moral decisions, when it's not. It has no morality at all. Nope. We haven't even explored how to train morality into an AI. Now that would be an interesting thing, but again, what morality would you train it on? So we are in a position at the moment, we're on a frontier where AI is really useful. We know it is machine learning can do some fantastic things a lot faster than we humans can.
Medicine is a huge.
Yeah. But we're not letting it make decisions without knowing what we're after. As in, we want it to identify cancer cells, and we've told it how to identify cancer cells.
Well, actually, I think they were looking at yeast to begin with, weren't they? And then suddenly they could figure out breast cancer cells instead, which is like amazing.
But a human decided how to do that. They said, oh, look, it can do this as well. That was a human making that decision. That was not the AI making that decision.
No, the AI didn't suddenly go, oh, I know what cancer is.
No. And we were in control of those processes. We are using AI as the tool to do things faster and cleaner and better and more reliably, more repeatably, I'd say. But with these large language models, that's not where we're going. People cannot explain how it's hallucinating, why it's deciding on these things. I mean, we're seeing it with Google at the moment. When they've gone fully AI, what did it tell? It was your recipe you were looking up, wasn't it, Tash? What did it tell you?
I was looking up to find out whether a certain brand of pesto was vegetarian, because I wanted to make a vegetarian snack for a friend. So I looked it up, and it told me in no uncertain terms, yes, it's vegetarian. But it also told me it contained Parmigiano Reggiano, PDO, which means it's the proper stuff, which means it fundamentally cannot be vegetarian because that cheese is made with animal rennet. And it's like, how it's definitely not vegetarian then, is it? But if it hadn't given me if I hadn't known that, it would have just cheerfully told me it was vegetarian.
So now the things we've relied on, or at least known when to rely on it, we can't even rely on that now because the AI is making it up because it's telling you what it thinks you want to hear. I expect
what it's doing is it found a one website over there that said it was, so it went yeah, it definitely is, when in fact there are other websites over there, or there's more information that it didn't take into account.
And that's the problem with AI, that it's very positive about what it tells you, it's certain about what it's telling you, but it's not very subtle. It doesn't have any depth. It doesn't give you the gray, the levels of gray that you need to understand. It's like if you ask something, is this the best something or other? If we go, yes, that's the best, or no, that's not the best. But it won't tell you the different levels. Whereas if you were doing the search yourself, not using an AI to do it, you would then go, okay, you actually have to think, because when we learned to do searching on the internet, we had to learn how to ask questions, how to query, put our query out there to get an answer, to get every answer, to get all the angles of the answer. We weren't relying on an AI to tell us all the angles. And I think that is the problem. We need to think for ourselves. That's one of the things we've got to teach our children. I mean, I'm a governor at a primary school. And one of the things that I think is important with the younger generation is to teach them to think for themselves, to think critically, to understand what they're looking for when they're asking a question. It's about not accepting everything. And AI, if you rely on just AI answers, you could just accept everything that comes in, and you can get it really, really wrong. It's, as I've said, you get stuck in an echo chamber or in the conspiracy theory world, or even worse, what the unknown big tech out there wants you to know, rather than what is actually the truth.
What Russian bots want you to know half the time.
Yeah.
Or the North Korean bots or whatever.
Whoever's bots they are, it doesn't really matter.
No.
Some invested interest that you don't know can tell you whatever they want you to know. And teaching someone to think critically means that you could then go, that doesn't sound right, or I need to now look around that. I mean, ground news is excellent for this because it gives you all the information. It's not hiding any information. It's just telling you what the sources are and what they're more likely to present you as, whether it's right leaning, left leaning, central. It's and that's the kind of thing that helps you think critically, because I'm not saying that it's fantastic, it's the way to be, but if you understand what it's doing and why it's doing it, you can then think critically about what it's giving you. I think that's the point of ground news, isn't it? It's to give you the whole picture so you can see what's coming from where. And that's one thing I think we really have to teach our children, to think critically as we go into this bold new future where tech is trying to people, I mean, these things were created because people wanted to help people, but now it's not. They're using it to control the narrative and things like that, and it's understanding when your narrative is being controlled, because, and yes, being suspicious and critical of everything.
Yeah, you have to be on the internet because the internet is controlled by people with money and governments with money, and so you have to question everything, frankly. Because the problem is the internet is all about the money. All about the money. It used to be, when we first started on the internet, you could make your own little website and put it over here, and your own little website and put it over here, and everything was people just putting stuff up that they wanted other people to see. It wasn't all corralled, and these days it's just fed to you, and that's the problem. We need to dump the algorithm and not be spoon fed. I mean, I've seen people complain that Archive of Our Own doesn't have an algorithm, so it doesn't tell you what to read next. No, you actually have to search for that. Click on the links. Look at the tags. The tags will tell you everything you need to know, but you do have to do it yourself. And there is a big element of laziness in the algorithm, which is not what we want.
So we want to teach people to be critical thinkers, and we want to teach them that they can do things themselves.
In summary, yes, technology is great, but don't rely on it. It's not a crutch. It's a tool.
And I think that's enough for now.
I do think that, yes. I think we have ranted enough. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So bye-bye, everyone. See you next time.
Bye-bye.